Welcome back to Celebrity Radio. It's Alex Belfield talking to some of the world's biggest stars and some of my favourite people. And we've got one for you today. Hanson were the band that took the world by storm. They're back on tour from February 11th at Birmingham, the Symphony Hall, with this brand new show called String Theory. And I'm delighted to say that Isaac Hanson joins us on the phone now. How are you doing, Isaac?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Yeah, I'm really good. I mean, I've been looking at the details of this new tour, which basically starts in Birmingham on February 11th at the Symphony Hall, and then Manchester, London, Glasgow, and goes around the world. It looks like it's going to cost a fortune. You've actually got a full orchestra.
Yeah. Well, there's always the great risk of that, yes. But luckily, the shows have been selling really, really well, and the reception so far on the U.S. run has been pretty exceptional. And so we're really excited about the fact that we're getting the chance to bring the show to the UK, to Europe, to Australia. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I've always said for any artist to stand in front of a big orchestra must be thrilling. These are some of the best orchestras in the world, and they're playing your music and your favourite music. What a thrill.
Oh, it's huge. It's the kind of thing that every songwriter dreams of. There are always points in record making, no matter what record it is, where you're like, oh, this song, or oh, these couple of songs. Oh, if we only had a string arrangement or some kind of orchestral, moment in this song and so on. And then to be able to not only have just a moment or just a song, but to really build an entire show around the symphony itself has been a real pleasure. And we've also had an exceptional collaborator, a friend of ours named David Campbell, who is a Oscar-winning and extremely experienced composer and arranger to help us do this.
I mean, you're not doing so bad yourself. Grammy-nominated, of course, multi-platinum group. If we look at the stats, I mean, they're mind-boggling. A string of top 40 singles, 60 million sales around the world. You didn't do bad. And I always ask this question because I'm a deeply unattractive man, Isaac. What's it like being a pop star and sex symbol? It must have been marvellous.
Yeah, it is. No, I don't know. I don't really quite ever know how to respond to that. To be honest, I think for me, it was always about writing and performing songs that I could be proud of, songs that I wouldn't mind singing and performing basically for the rest of my life. And thank goodness that was the perspective, because there are many songs that we have been performing basically our entire lives, and some of which are even in this String Theory show. Songs from our first record, songs from our second record, third record. So you have a long relationship with these songs as well as a whole lot of brand new material. And for me, ultimately, it was always about the music, no matter what.
Just talk to me about the arrangements and who puts those together, because to do it for 4 people means you've got 4 different sets of music. When you've got a 100-piece orchestra, who does that? Who choreographs who plays what when? Because if everybody does their own thing, it's going to be chaos, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. So our arranger, David Campbell, was extremely helpful in this, and obviously very experienced in it as well, which was the key, because you can come up with conceptual ideas, but actually executing them in a way in which the orchestra will be able to properly understand them and play them properly night after night is a whole other story. Not to mention the fact that even though we are songwriters and musicians, it's not the same job. And so we enlisted what I think is probably the best arranger and composer of kind of his type. I mean, he basically has done. David has done stuff with everyone from Willie Nelson to Paul McCartney to Rush to any number of. I mean, the list is actually too long to really go through. It's basically like anybody you can think of that's really cool. Yeah, he's done something with them. And so he was the guy that helped us when we laid out the show and said, this is exactly how we want the show to go. These are the breaks, these are the sections, this is kind of what we're talking about. And we talked it through extensively and went through various different, renditions of parts and so on. And it was a long process. I mean, it was months and months and months of work.
I can imagine. And then we look at your audience growing with you. I guess you're all on a journey together and they'll take any risk that you take. Because if you said back in the 90s we're going to do an orchestral show, they'd probably laugh at you. Now, of course, they're 20 years older, as we all are, because we're all about the same age. I guess that's thrilling, isn't it? That they're willing to take the liberty that you are and they're coming with you on this sort of musical journey.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic in that way. And they really have taken a lot of risks with us over the years. I mean, they're the backbone of what we do, especially with an ever-evolving music business and, it being very difficult to make a living on just recorded music. Live shows are even more important. They always were, but they're even more important now than ever. And we have an incredibly musical fan base. I mean, we've made music the focus of our relationship, and they've kind of met us there and enjoyed the ups and downs of all of it with us. And yeah, they are evolving with us. I mean, the coolest thing to me about this now is, you'll have a combination of fans who have been with you from the very beginning, fans who just discovered you and are, somewhere around the age of your first major record, and then things like some of your older fans' kids who are, in their single digits or even in some cases double digits coming to shows for the first time. So you have already a multi kind of layered relationship with people, and that's the fun thing, and that's the important thing about evolving and changing and making new projects like String Theory.
I never remember you guys having the reputation of being arseholes. Was that difficult? Because when you're at the height of fame and you're an international pop star particularly, it's easy to lose yourself, isn't it?
Oh, it can be very easy to lose yourself. In fact, actually, I've watched it, I've seen it, and it's a really painful thing to watch. And it's understandable too, because it's a lot of pressure. Especially, I mean, I do not.
Welcome back to Celebrity Radio. It's Alex Barfield talking to some of the world's biggest stars and some of my favourite people. And we've got one for you today. Hanson were the band that took the world by storm. They're back on tour from February 11th at Birmingham, the Symphony Hall, with this brand new show called String Theory. And I'm delighted to say that Isaac Hanson joins us on the phone now. How are you doing, Isaac?
That's a challenging thing.
Yeah, I'm really good. I mean, I've been looking at the details of this new tour, which basically starts in Birmingham on February 11th at the Symphony Hall, and then Manchester, London, Glasgow, and goes around the world. It looks like it's going to cost a fortune. You've actually got a full orchestra.
But what I would say is we don't do our dirty laundry in public, or at least we try not to. And that's maybe just because we were raised better.
I just watched the Bros documentary. I suppose the equivalent of your fame and success was Bros in this country, because of course they had that brotherly love, but they also had the fame to lose themselves. Have you ever considered sort of doing that, and what would we learn? I mean, do you regard yourself as normal at this orchestras in the world, and they're playing your music and your favourite music? What a thrill.
That's huge. But I think in general I'm a relatively normal guy. I mean, normal is a relative term, in the sense that what I will say is that most things that I do on a day-to-day basis are not normal. However, I really enjoy talking to people who do quote-unquote normal day-to-day things, whether it be literally someone who is a plumber or an electrician, or someone who is an accountant, or a hairdresser, or whatever. Collaborator, relating to people on that level. If you lose the common touch, then you're unwise. And also, it's really hard to write songs.
I mean, you're not doing so bad yourself. Grammy-nominated, of course, multi-platinum group. If we look at the stats, I mean, they're mind-boggling. A string of top 40 singles, 60 million sales around the world. You didn't do bad. And I always ask this question because I'm a deeply unattractive man, Isaac. What's it like? And again, having that sort of eyes around you, those two pairs of eyes watching each other through the tour, through life, is thrilling, because of course most people don't have that, as you say. And when you've got sycophants around you, that's the road to ruins, isn't it? When you've got yes men who are giving you everything and telling you you're perfect.
I Sycophantic behavior is a universal situation in the entertainment business as a whole, and if you're smart, you should be allergic to it.
Yes, it's the road to ruins. Very finally on the orchestra, as well as your own material, which of course we're going to get, and I notice you've booked actually my hometown. I'm not going to be in town for it, which is annoying, but you're doing Rock City on Valentine's Day, which will be interesting. That'll be the rock show, and then you've got the orchestral show starting in Birmingham. What do we get anything as well as your material, or is it solely all Hanson stuff?
It is all Hanson stuff. We did a couple of tours back. We did what we call the Roots in Rock and Roll, which was basically
the arrangements and who puts those together. Because to do it for 4 people means you've got 4 different sets of music. When you've got a 100-piece orchestra, who does that? Who choreographs? Who plays what when? Because if everybody does their own thing, it's going to be chaos, isn't it?
But this show is absolutely. Yeah, it's a completely original composition. There's a lot of new music in there, especially for anyone who is not a part of is not a Hanson.net member, because we actually release a key. Because we release EPs of 5 songs every single year to our fan club, no matter what we're doing on a general public level. So there is music that's woven into this string theory show that was originally released, or I should say composed, originally for some of those fan club keys that have been brought into this whole show to tell the story. And then there's a lot of brand new music that's never been released before as well. In addition to that, you've got songs well known as MMMBop in there as well. So, it's kind of, it runs the gambit, but most importantly, it's a story about a young boy with an impossible dream who was told that dream any number of women chasing, and that he should abandon it and go for something more reasonable. And he said, no, I'm going to keep chasing the dream. And really, I hope that, if nothing else, this show inspires all of us. These are the breaks, look back at this is kind of what we're talking about, and hearts that we once had, and rekindle that fire and that dream for life, and hopefully find those things that really do make you want to pursue the better version of yourself, and the kind of the best goals that you've had, even if they're old ones, and ask yourself whether or not it's not too late to just dive in and make tomorrow, make today, that day where you really pursued the thing that you felt like your life gave your life meaning, that gave your life purpose.
I suppose it's that old adage, isn't it? Never put off today what you could do tomorrow, because if you do it tomorrow and enjoy it, you could have done it yesterday. It's interesting. Hanson, String Theory is on tour. Birmingham Symphony Hall, February 11th, February 12th in Manchester at the Bridgewater Hall, February 15th at the Royal Festival Hall, Glasgow, Royal Concert Hall on February 17th, and then the world tour continues. I notice you're doing a meet and greet. I call them grip and grins. They must be interesting. Is there any WHD going on there? WHD, that's wandering hand disease, by the way, Isaac.
Oh, yes, I apologize. I'm not up on my British accent. There may be on the part of the grips and grinners, but not on my part.
They must keep their hands to themselves. Hanson will be on tour with String Theory from February the 11th. Isaac, it's been lovely talking to you. Thank you for your time.
Thanks so much.